Welcome back to the YellowCard Vanguard channel. I'm your host, Toku from It's Toku TV on Twitch. Every Monday, I'm streaming Vanguard content. In the past few Mondays, we've been brewing up clan collection lists and testing them, so swing on by to be part of the process. We are on day 6 of clan collection course, and today we've got everyone's favorite fish idol clan, Bermuda Triangle. I'm happy to say that Refiarade is probably one of the coolest cards in Vanguard I've seen, and explore some new design space that I didn't think was capable of the design team. Who would have thought that in Cardfight Vanguard it was valid to have a deck not revolving around Vanguard attacks? Most importantly, most of these cards are incredibly generic, which means we have a larger pool of generic staples that we can dive into to get a general idea on a deck core for Refiarade. Let's review the new cards before getting into our core. Headlining the new idol group is a single Quiet Refiarade. She has a once per turn skill on the Vanguard circle to counterblast 1, discard 1, and tap herself, thus rendering herself unable to attack. However, in return, if we have 4 or less force markers, she generates us 2 more. And then, for each rear circle with a force marker, you can perform a pseudo drive check. Note that you don't even need rear guards on those circles to get the drive check. If you are adamant on damage denying your opponent, Refi allows you to drive check 3 without attacking even once. Her second effect as a Vanguard states that when your opponent is grade 3 or higher, grade 2 or less units boosted by a force marker can attack from the back. With the help of a force marker, this turns every unit card into a viable attacker and provides a new definition to a 5 attack force deck. The new grade 1 we get is Reliable Faith Usalos. On the rear circle or the guardian circle, while you have 2 or more force markers, this girl gains a bonus 5k to reach 13, but also an extra 5k shield. Not only that, as a rear guard, while you have 3 or more force markers, she gains intercept and can intercept from the back row as well. Both of her effects are what I like to call fake conditions, because as long as you're on Refi, they will always be live. Both effects in conjunction with each other will end up making this deck deceptively tanky, as they will have an extra 15 to 30k guard from the board in the latter stages of the game. We've got a new grade 4 unit for the Highlander deck, Miracle Cycle Atrokia. She's hot, but she's for Highlander, so we'll skip her since I don't believe in that deck. Finally, the new grade 3 heal, Benedetta. I think, at least for Refi, this card should be mandatory, as the way I designed my deck core, it is a triple ride deck, and as such, going second, we need the survivability. But also, going first, we absolutely need the counterblast for Refi's skill. To introduce the deck core, I'm going to go over the deck's winning image and then game plan. Our first turn on Refi will get 3 force markers, 1 from riding, 2 from her skill, and we'll place them all on different rear circles to pseudo drive for 3. We can attack with our front row rear guards if we do so wish, and then, on our second turn, we re-ride into another copy of Refi for our 4th force marker to a rear circle. We'll use her skill to get our 5th and 6th force markers onto rear circles. We will stack 1 rear circle with an extra force marker here, and here we'll pseudo drive check 5 cards. At this point, we will attack with all of our rear guards to push our opponent to near lethal, before re-riding into Lupina on our final turn for our 7th force marker onto the Vanguard circle this time, for our 5 attack force deck. Starting at the top end, we want 4 Refis and 4 Lupinas. As stated before, we aim to ride 2 copies of Refis each game and to find at least 1 copy of Lupina before turn 3 on our grade 3 ride. Extra copies of each card can be used as discard for Refi's Cost, Aqua, and even Sedna. Now at this point, we're just going to dip into the massive good generic card pool that Bermuda Triangle has. We're going to run 4 copies of Aqua and Lieselot each. Aqua can convert dead Lupinas and Refis into other cards with her filter skill, but also acts as a high power 15k attacker. Whereas Lieselot is a raw +2 board, and in conjunction with Refi's second effect, everything she calls to board will be a viable attacker. Lastly, for our grade 2, we run 3 copies of Karo to act as our 5th to 7th copies of Refi. since we do aim to look to ride her at least once more. The cool thing that if we do find another Refi off of Refi's drive check skill, we don't have to use our soul for Caro going into future turns, and she can be instead now used as ditch fodder or guard for better grade 2s and 1s. For our grade 1s, we're playing 3 copies of Rosalinda as part of our Lupina finisher package. Not only does she give Lupina an extra 10k, she also searches for her. For the rest of our grade 1s, we're playing the best generic cards and the best generic guard. 4 copies of Sedna to find other copies of Refis and Lupina if we haven't found them yet, but also because she's normally going to be always 13k by herself. 4 copies of Ellie, which provides on-hitch pressure, whether we are on Lupina or Refi. Her 2 skills in conjunction will provide the player with 20k guard, which will assure safe transition from the mid-game to the late. Finally, we've got 3 copies of Lusalos to round out our grade 1 lineup. As stated before, as long as you ride into Refi, both of her skills will be live and thus make the deck a lot tankier than it would lead you to believe due to its conjunction of skills to provide 15k shield from board. We're going with a fairly standard trigger lineup of 8 criticals and 4 draw sentinels. The combination of raw plussing and filtering from Aqua, Lizelot, and Refi should provide us the hand we need. And since we don't have an actual Vanguard attack until the 3rd turn, we aim for criticals to give our attacking rear some threat. Finally, we are playing the new grade 3 heal triggers as for previously stated reasons. This deck is a triple ride deck, and as such, we need the survivability when going second, but we also do not want to be counterblast denied when going first to deny our Refi skill. Now, how can you change this up to your liking? One general shortcoming of this deck is how honest it is. Because your Vanguard does not attack, both you and your opponent know exactly how big each rearguard will be swinging for how much critical each has. They won't have to overguard or use PGs early because they don't know what kind of triggers is coming from a Vanguard attack. As such, they can easily plan how to guard. We can consider running critical sentinels instead of draw sentinels to give this deck a bit more bite. Just thinking about 12 crits in a Pentadrive check deck scares me too. We can also definitely play around with Rachel's as well. Because of how many force markers this deck makes, every unit is a viable attacker. We can then up Lusalos to 4 and cut Caro to 2, as Rusalo hits magic numbers by herself, and Caro is really only here to find our second Refi. Now, you might find that your deck lacks power and rearguard attacks regardless. Graceful Prayer Ami, being reprinted this set as well, is a 38k attacker while on a force marker. This asks for a minimum of 2 triggers to guard. Likewise, if you find that when you re-ride into Lupina, your Vanguard swing does not have enough threat to it as well, you can definitely consider Unique Allure Dagny to round off your Lupina package to give her a crit. Finally, you can also consider using your old Melody grade 3s as your rearguards while on Refi, and bank on your high guard grade 1s in the back row to compensate for the lack of grade 2. This way, each of your rearguards will attack for magic numbers by themselves while you're on Refi. All of the grade 3 melodies are 13k base, Sedna is 13k base, and Lufalos is also 13k base. Consider running Colorful Pastoral Fina, as she can provide the melody grade 3s in your front row intercept, but can also make the grade 2 Caro and a 15k intercept as well. Colorful Pastoral Sonata to provide your board with 5k boost, and even Colorful Pastoral Caro to provide a way to boost your columns, as she won't be able to attack from the back from Refi's skill as she is a grade 3. I predict that this deck will be a viable side grade to the current Boogeyman Prisms. It provides a new interesting way to play a 5 attack force deck, and a new unique way to collect gifts as you transition into a different Vanguard ride that uses them better. I'll definitely be looking to pick this up for sure. In any case, that's all I've got to say for Bermuda's segment of Clan Collection Cores. I hope to see you all back here on the channel tomorrow. This has been Fish Idol Oshi, Toku signing off.